I love too hard. Now everybody I trust, it feels like somebody I lost. I gave them my heart like it couldn't break. Now I'm learning what loving too hard really cost. I love too hard. That's the truth I never wanted to say. I kept giving pieces of myself away, then wonder why I didn't recognize my face. I love too hard. I was the one who stayed when everybody left, the one who answered every call when I had nothing left, the one who said it's okay while my own world collapsed, smiling through the damage so nobody asked. I learned how to carry everybody else's pain, but nobody noticed mine was getting heavier every day. I became a shelter for people running from storms, and stood outside alone when they found somewhere warm. That's the part that hurts. I wasn't asking for perfection, I wasn't asking for forever. I just wanted somebody to mean it when they said they'd be there. But promises sound beautiful when you're desperate enough to believe them. So I believe, and maybe that's what broke me. I confused being needed with being loved. I confused being useful with being enough. I thought if I gave somebody everything I had, they'd be afraid to leave me because they know what they lose. I was wrong. Some people take your best days and still leave you with your worst night. Some people know exactly where your heart is and still put their foot on it. I remember every I got you, every I'm not going anywhere, every trust me. Funny how silence became the answer when I finally needed somebody to stay. And I don't hate you, that's what makes it worse, because I still remember the good even though the ending was bad. I still remember laughing in the car, late night conversations, the little things nobody else would understand the way I thought for once. Maybe I had finally found somewhere I belonged, and suddenly I was talking to memories like they could talk back. And here's what nobody tells you about heartbreak. Sometimes you don't miss the person, you miss the version of yourself that existed before they taught you how easily love can disappear. I miss that guy, the guy who trusted without checking twice, the guy who didn't read between every line, the guy who didn't wonder if I love you had an expiration date. Now I overthink every goodbye, every delayed reply, every change in someone's voice, because once you watch somebody become a stranger, you start wondering how many strangers are hiding inside the people you love. I started keeping my feelings behind locked doors, not because I stopped caring, because I cared too much. I learned to say I'm good with the voice that sounded convincing. I learned to laugh while something inside me was screaming. I learned that being strong sometimes just means nobody notices you drowning. And I was drowning, not in alcohol, not in fame, not in money. I was drowning in everything I never said. I wanted to scream, why wasn't I enough? But pride kept my mouth closed, so I asked myself instead, was I too much? Did I care too much? Call too much? Give too much? Forgive too much? Maybe. But here's the truth I've been scared to admit. I don't regret loving deeply. I regret abandoning myself just to keep somebody else comfortable. That's different, cause I would rather have a heart that can feel than the heart that never risks anything. I just need to learn where to put it, because not everybody deserves access to the deepest parts of me. Not everybody deserves the keys just because they asked for the door. I gave people the map to my wounds, and some of them used it to hurt me better. That's a sentence I wish I never had to understand, but I do now. I know what it feels like to stare at your phone, waiting for one message that used to come without asking. I know what it feels like to delete a conversation, then open the trash just to read it one more time. I know what it feels like to hear a song in the grocery store, and suddenly you're standing in another year. Same melody, different life, same heart, different scars, and nobody around you knows why you suddenly got quiet. There's heartbreak. It's not always crying, sometimes it's driving home in silence, because you don't trust your own voice. Sometimes it's deleting the number while secretly memorizing it. Sometimes it's telling everyone you're over it because you're tired of explaining that healing doesn't happen on the schedule. I thought time was supposed to erase everything, it doesn't. Time teaches you how to carry it, and maybe that's what I'm doing now, carrying it, not letting it carry me. Because I've got dreams that didn't die just because somebody walked away. I've got a life I still haven't lived. I've got a version of me that I haven't met yet. And maybe losing you wasn't the end of my story. Maybe it was the chapter where I finally stopped. Maybe it was the chapter where I finally stopped. To think strength meant never looking back. Now I know strength is looking back without wanting to go there again. That's growth. That's different. I can remember you without rebuilding the house we burned down. I can miss you without calling you. I can't forgive you without giving you another opportunity to break me. And I can love the memories without pretending the ending didn't hurt. That's peace. Not forgetting, not pretending. Peace. I remember the nights I blame myself for everything. Maybe I wasn't patient enough. Maybe I wasn't interesting enough. Maybe I wasn't successful enough. Maybe if I had said the right thing at the right time with the right words, you would have stayed. But that's the trap. When somebody leaves, your mind starts rewriting history until you're the villain in a story where you are only trying to survive. I won't do that anymore. I know my mistakes, I know where I failed, but I also know I gave chances I didn't have. I apologized when I wasn't wrong, I stayed when I should've walked. I carried conversations that should've ended months before. I fought for people who had already stopped fighting for me. And that's not weakness, that's misplaced loyalty. There's a difference. One day you're gonna wake up and realize the person you cried over isn't the person you need anymore. Not because they became worse, not because you became better, because you finally became whole without them. That's the comeback nobody sees. No announcement, no trophy, no cameras, just you standing in your bathroom mirror and realizing I don't miss who I was with them, I miss who I thought I would become. And then you realize you can still become that person without them. So I started rebuilding, one morning at a time, one honest conversation with myself, one boundary, one dream, one decision to stop chasing people who only noticed me when I was useful. I started sleeping better, laughing differently, walking differently, dreaming again. And I noticed something strange. The less I begged people to understand me, the more I understood myself. That's when the healing started. Not when they apologized, not when they came back, not when they finally admitted they were wrong. It started when I stopped needing them to confirm that I was hurt. I knew I was hurt, that was enough. So here's to every night I thought I wouldn't make it through, every message I didn't send, every call I didn't make, every door I finally closed, every tear I wiped away before somebody could see it. Every time I said, tomorrow I'll feel better. Even when I didn't believe myself, tomorrow came, then another one, then another. And somewhere between all those tomorrows I came back, not the old me, something stronger, something wiser, something that knows love isn't supposed to cost your identity. I don't need revenge, I don't need you to regret leaving, I don't need you watching my life from somewhere far away, wondering what I became. I just need to become someone I can respect when nobody is watching. That's the victory. Because sometimes the biggest comeback isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. When you always believed there was more inside you. I thought losing you was going to be the thing that ended me. Turns out it was the thing that introduced me to myself. And that's crazy, because the wound I thought would bury me became the place where I planted everything new. New dreams, new boundaries, new standards, new reasons to wake up, new reasons to stay. I don't hate the person I used to be. He was doing the best he could with a heart that didn't know how dangerous love could become. So I forgive him for staying too long, for trusting too easily, for ignoring the warning signs, for thinking he had to earn love. He didn't. Neither do you. If you're listening to this with somebody's name still sitting inside your chest, I hope you hear this part. You don't have to hate them to move on. You don't have to erase the memories. You don't have to pretend you never cared. You just have to stop making their absence the definition of your future, because your life is still happening right now, while you're thinking about yesterday. Tomorrow is waiting for you. I loved too hard, maybe I did, maybe I gave too much, maybe I stayed too long, maybe I ignored into shame, because loving deeply is not the embarrassing part. Abandoning yourself to keep somebody is what I will never do again. I can love, I can hurt, I can forgive, I can remember and still move forward. That's freedom. I don't need another person to complete me. I need to stop giving people